up, guys? Fico here, and I just left to apologize for leaving this one a little bit late. I'm a little late into the party with this one. This is especially since this was the first movie that came out on this summer blockbuster full of action and excitement. But I didn't get a chance to see this movie until Memorial Day, so forgive me. I was aware of its existence. I was aware of Iron Man 3. I watched it with my friends Noah and Ann, and we had a great time. Iron Man 3 is third installment of the Iron Man franchise in theaters. Robert Downey Jr.'s back, Gwyneth Paltrow is back, Don Cheadle's back, bringing forth in this new movie. They bring in Ben Kingsley and Guy Pearce, and it's directed by Shane Black. Shane Black and Robert Downey Jr. have worked together previously in a movie called Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which I saw years ago. I haven't seen it recently. Val Kilmer is also in that movie. And I remember it was a witty, funny, dark comedy-ish, but also at the same time sort of like suspenseful kind of movie. And Robert Downey Jr. in that movie, excuse me, also took the the show in that one. But in this movie, this is right after the Avengers. Tony Stark, he is not the same as he was. We get a little bit of a flashback towards something that he did a couple of years ago. And as he's going through this, he's narrating as sometimes you do things and you end up coming back to you and biting you. You end up creating your own monsters, and this seems to be the case. But if I went in too much detail, I'd be spoiling a bit of the story, so I won't. But the main villain in this movie, as you're being portrayed and told, it's the Mandarin, which for many of you Iron Man fans is probably the first villain that Tony Stark took on. I've been told based upon the history. I could be wrong. I mean, you see that I've got comics. I'm not a comic book genius, but from what I've been researching, or from what I've been told, he's been from the very beginning. Since Iron Man first showed up in the comic book scene, Mandarin has been right there. So, if anything, this is like the main main villain. And he's played by Ben Kingsley. And the other threat is this group of super soldiers who sort of have this regenerative power, but also at the same time they have this ability to conduct heat from their skin. It's like turn themselves into sort of like human torches almost. But if I went into more detail about that and what that was, I'd be spoiling things in the movie. But let me just go ahead and just give you my points about what I thought about this movie in comparison to the other two. A lot of people say that the first one is still the best one. I think I would put this one and the first one on equal lengths. Maybe the first one being a little better, because it sort of just kind of doesn't stray away too far from the origin story. Whereas here, there is one particular thing that they do that might have made a couple of angry, comic book fans a bit angry. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking maybe I should probably do like an Iron Man 3 spoiler video in retelling this scene, but it has to do, I won't say what it is, but it's been addressed from the very beginning. When you were seeing like the teaser trailer for Iron Man 3, you were given the impression of something in specific happening, and then all of a sudden they do this thing with the plot, and all of a sudden it's not much just like a plot twist only. Also, it's almost as if it were like a really? I mean, like a really in the plot. It makes you go, really? It's like, really? It was just, I mean, I myself, even if I'm not a hardcore Iron Man comic book reader, I am mostly been going through the DCs. I have not gone through our Marvel now, and I have not caught up with Iron Man and his stories, and I've been getting great recommendations from Comixology before this movie came out. It's just like, maybe you should just fill yourself in with, you know, stuff like the Extremist storyline, the Mandarin storyline, the origin of Iron Man and Tony Stark, and the only thing I read that featured Iron Man was Civil War, and not exactly paints him in the light that I was like, this is not Tony Stark. I mean, come on. Come on. It's like he doesn't care about anyone. All of a sudden he cares about everything except the people he should be caring about, and I'm like, whatever. But anyway, Civil War gripes aside, I thought that this movie was just full of action, jam-packed to the core. Not all the way. I mean, there are moments that just continue moving forward, just Tony being Tony. Robert Downey Jr. is never boring on the screen, so clearly, you know, I never felt like I was bored throughout this movie. I felt that this was very entertaining, funny as well. It's funny as well. It's probably the much funnier than in the first one. It blows over the second one. Like, the second one shouldn't exist. You don't lose much from the second one. I mean, maybe like a few scenes here or there. But you definitely get a lot more action in this one. You've seen it on the trailers, but it just blows your mind how this movie is. And in this movie, I think Tony realizes that you know, you get distracted on doing your things, and you kind of forget about the important things. And I think this is where he realizes that he's got to refocus himself. And a big theme of this movie is that Tony Stark is bigger than his armor. A lot of people associated Tony Stark with just his armor, and it goes kind of back to the Avengers when Captain America was asking him, "When you take off the suit, what are you?" And he goes and he says that he's a millionaire, playboy, philanthropist, or whatever. I don't remember the whole thing, but here you get to the answer to that question. You get the answer towards what is Tony Stark without his armor. You can't take away his genius. You can't take away his wits. You can't take away his behavior. You can't take away anything from him. All you're taking away from him is his suit. That's it. But Tony Stark is still dangerous, and he puts MacGyver to shame. Oh my god, I really had a lot of fun with this movie, and for that reason, I'm gonna give this this enjoyable, rewatchable. I totally would watch this again over over Iron Man 2. Seriously, the plot twist that I was talking about, it sort of just kind of took me a little off, because I would have wanted seriously to see this confrontation between the shh, be quiet, be quiet. For that reason, I'm gonna give this movie a 4 out of 5, and it's a really good movie, but I think I think not that it was a bad idea. I think you all know what it is, but not that that part was a bad idea. I think it was an interesting twist, but that kind of just made my head nod a little bit. I'm going, really? Even I, who don't read the comics, I sort of just know about this thing, and all of a sudden it's like, no. But I got over it pretty fast because the rest of the movie was really good. But what do you guys think about Iron Man 3? Did you guys like it? Did you guys hate it? Do you guys recommend it? And do you guys like this more than the first one? Is the first one slightly less superior than this one? Has it evolved to a good pace? Let me know what you guys think, and tell me if you guys are excited for the next batch of Marvel movies, like Thor, the Dark World, and the rest of the other movies that are coming out. So you guys have a great day, and thank you for watching. Peace out.